Welcome again to the continuation on the solutions to the B.E.C.E 2024 mathematics questions that I started with you in the first video. In the first video, we started solving the mathematics questions of the B.E.C.E 2024, which is the theory questions, and we started with the question 3. So in the first video, we've done the A part of the question 3, and this is the B part that I want us to handle in this video. Okay, so as you can see from the board, this is question 3B, so it means we've already done the question 3A in the first video. Okay, and I hope you understood it and you enjoyed the lesson as well. Please don't forget to like the videos and also share them after watching. And if you are watching for the first time, please do all to follow the page and also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. So let's go ahead and tackle the question 3B on the board. Okay, so let's read the question together. It says that a wire of length 38 centimeters is bent into the shape of a rectangle whose length is 7 centimeters more than the width. It says find the area of the rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to read it one more time. It says that a wire of length 38 centimeters is bent into the shape of a rectangle whose length is 7 centimeters more than the width. Find the area of the rectangle. Okay, so we are being asked to find the area of the rectangle. Okay, and I've taught you perimeter and area of plane figures already in the previous videos. Okay, we started from the basics. Okay, we've treated the perimeter and area of plane figures as a full topic, okay, where we handled a rectangle, square, and also triangle. Okay, so please do all to search for the previous videos that I've done on perimeter and area of plane figures so that you can get the basic knowledge and foundation to be able to handle this question, because you are just going to apply that knowledge to solve the question that I have on the board. Okay, so let's go ahead and tackle this question. Okay, now I've explained to you from the previous videos, okay, when we're doing the perimeter and area of plane figures, I explained to you that anytime you have word problem questions of this nature, the first thing to do is that you need to read the question at least twice so that you get the understanding, okay, because your understanding of the question is part of the solution. Because if you don't understand what the question is asking you to do, then of course you cannot provide the right solution to the question. Okay, so it's very important that you read the question so that you gain the understanding before you attempt solving it. Okay, so that's the first step. Okay, now the next step is that after reading the question, what you need to do is that you need to extract all the given information in the question and write them down. Okay, by that what I mean is that every information that the question gave you, write them down. Okay, that is part of the solution, and it even helps you to know what to do. Okay, examiners award marks for all those processes. Okay, so it's important that you follow the process that I'm teaching you. First, read and understand the question, okay, because your understanding of the question is part of the solution. Second, read again and extract all the given information in the question and write them down. Okay, now the reason why most students struggle with word problem questions is because they don't take their time and follow a systematic order to arrive at the solution. Okay, they try to put everything together and that makes the work very difficult and complex for them. Okay, but if you follow the order that I'm showing you, you see that the work becomes very simple and clear. Okay, so we are going to do exactly that. Okay, so now we've understood what the question is asking us to do. The question is asking us to find the area of the rectangle. Okay, so meaning that we are dealing with a rectangle here and we have to find the area of the rectangle. Okay, so now we are going to read one more time and we are going to write down all the given information in the question. Okay, that's the next step. I hope you agree with me up to this point. So let's go ahead. Let me write down my solution and let's start by writing down the given information in the question. It says that a wire of length 38 centimeters is bent into the shape of a rectangle. Okay, now that statement is very important because if you don't understand that statement, then of course you cannot attempt the question. Okay, so it's very important you understand this statement, which is very key. Okay, it says that a wire of length 38 centimeters is bent into the shape of a rectangle. Now you have a wire which is of length 38 centimeters which has been bent into the shape of a rectangle. What does that tell you? It tells you that the 38 centimeters is the perimeter of the rectangle. Please, do you understand? Because the perimeter of any plane figure is the distance around it. Okay, again, the perimeter of any plane figure is the distance around it. So the question is saying that a wire of length 38 centimeters is bent into the shape of a rectangle. So that wire which is of length 38 centimeters, they've bent it to form a rectangle. So it tells you that that 38 centimeters forms the perimeter of the rectangle because it is that wire which is of length 38 centimeters. That is what has been used to make or which has been bent into the rectangle. So if you are looking for what that 38 represents, it represents the perimeter of the rectangle. I hope the explanation is clear enough because the perimeter of any plane figure is the distance around it, and it is the wire which is of length 38 centimeters which has been bent into the shape of the rectangle, which tells us that the perimeter of the rectangle is 38 centimeters. Please, I hope you understand up to this point. Okay, so I'm going to write down that we have the perimeter. Okay, so we have our perimeter. Write your perimeter info, then into bracket you can bring P. Okay, so don't just write only P there. Okay, because the examiner cannot assume that the P there you've written refers to perimeter. So you need to write perimeter info, then in bracket you can represent it by P. Okay, so perimeter into bracket P equals to 38 centimeters. Okay, I hope you understand and you agree up to this point. Let's continue reading. It says that a wire of length 38 centimeters is bent into the shape of a rectangle whose length is 7 centimeters more than the width. Now, the mistake that most students make is that they assume. Don't assume. You need to pay a meticulous attention, okay, to the construction of sentence when you are handling word problem questions. It's very important. Okay, so don't be in a rush. Now, most students will assume that the length of the rectangle is 7 centimeters, which is wrong because that is not what the question is saying. Now, let's read it one more time. It says that whose length is 7 centimeters more than the width. It says 7 centimeters more than the width. Are you getting it? It didn't say the length is 7 centimeters. It says whose length is 7 centimeters more than the width. Okay, I hope you agree with me. So don't think that the length is 7 centimeters. No, that's not what it's saying. It says the length is 7 centimeters more than the weight. Okay, whose length is 7 centimeters more than the weight. So now, the thing is that we don't even know the value of the weight. Okay, the weight is not given in this question. We don't know the weight of the rectangle, but we have the statement saying that whose length is 7 centimeters more than the weight. Now, I've explained to you that anytime you are handling a word problem question and there is an unknown value that the question is talking about, okay, what you do is that you represent that unknown value by a variable. Okay, so now in this case we don't know the weight. Okay, so we have to represent the weight by a variable, because this part of the question is saying that a rectangle whose length is 7 centimeters more than the weight. And the issue here is that we don't even know the value of the weight. We don't know the weight of the rectangle. So what we do is that we represent the weight of the rectangle by a variable. I hope you understand up to this point. So I'm going to say that let the weight, okay, so the weight into bracket D of the rectangle be equals to S. I hope, sorry, not D, into bracket W. Okay, so W represents the weight of the rectangle. Okay, sorry, not D but W. Okay, equals to S. I hope you agree with me up to this point. So we've represented the weight that we don't know by a variable. Now, if we know that the weight is S, then of course now we can know the length of the rectangle. Why? Because it's saying that whose length is 7 centimeters more than the weight. Okay, now 7 centimeters more than the weight means that when we add 7 centimeters to the weight, then it will be equal to the length of the rectangle. I hope you agree with me. Look at it. Let's take our time and read it again. So a wire of length 38 centimeters is bent into the shape of a rectangle, okay, whose length is 7 centimeters more than the weight. What that means that when we add 7 centimeters to the weight of the rectangle, it will be equal to the length of the rectangle, because it's saying that whose length is 7 centimeters more than the weight. And we know that the weight is S, because I've explained to you that anytime you don't know the value of something in a word problem question, you represent it by a variable. So we've represented the weight of the rectangle by a variable S. So now if you know that the weight is S, then of course now we can know the length also. Okay, so the length will be equal to 7 plus the weight, okay, because it says whose length is 7 more than the weight. Okay, so now the length, okay, so therefore I will have my length, okay, so my length into bracket L will be equal to S plus 7. I hope you understand and you agree with me up to this point. Okay, so that's how you are supposed to handle this question. Okay, so we have the length to be S plus 7 and we have the weight to be S. Okay, now it says that find the area of the rectangle. Okay, before we can proceed to find the area of the rectangle, then of course we need to know the length of the rectangle and also the weight of the rectangle, because area of a rectangle is length times weight. Okay, so let me write that formula down. Okay, so I know that my area into bracket A of a rectangle equals to the length times the weight. Okay, so I have to find the value of S to be able to find the length of the rectangle and also the weight of the rectangle before we can proceed and find the area. I hope you understand up to this point. Okay, so now what do we do to find the value of S? Now we have been given perimeter. So we are going to make use of the perimeter of the rectangle to be able to find for the value of s. Okay, so this is the perimeter. So the perimeter of a rectangle, okay, so P equals to 2L plus 2W. Okay, so this is the formula for finding the perimeter of a rectangle. So perimeter of a rectangle is given to be 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, and we know the length has been given in terms of s, okay, an expression in terms of s, which is the s plus 7, and the width also has been given is s, okay, not given. We represented it by a variable which is s. Okay, so we are going to input the values and we are going to solve for s. I hope you agree with me up to this point. Okay, so now let's go ahead. The perimeter, which is the P here, the value is 38. So in place of P, I'm going to write my 38 equals to, then I'll write my 2, which is here, multiplying the length. So the length is given to be s plus 7. So s plus 7, you close your bracket. Then you bring your plus, which is here. Then I have my 2 here multiplying the weight, and the weight is given to be s. So I write my s. I hope you understand up to this point. So this now becomes a simple linear equation to solve for s. Okay, so let's proceed and solve for s in this equation. I've taught you linear equation also. So we are going to apply that knowledge to solve it. So if you don't have any knowledge on linear equation, you don't have to worry. I've treated linear equation as a full topic. Okay, so just search for my videos on linear equation on either Facebook or YouTube, okay, for you to gain the understanding to be able to handle this. Okay, we are just applying the knowledge here. So let's go ahead and solve the linear equation on the board. What we need to do is to first open our bracket. So I'm going to have my 38 equals to the 2 open its bracket. How the 2 opens its bracket is that it multiplies every term in the bracket. So the 2 here will multiply the s, and the 2 here will multiply the 7. Okay, I hope you agree with me. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So 2 times the s, it gives me 2s. Then I'll bring my plus 2 times the 7, it gives 14. Okay, then plus the 2 times the s here, it gives 2s. I hope you understand up to this point. Okay, so all that we did is to open our brackets. Let's go ahead and group like terms. Okay, so if I write my 38 here, this 14 here will cross the equal sign. Don't forget, when anything crosses the equal sign, the sign it has changes. We have positive 14 here. When it crosses the equal sign, it becomes negative. Okay, so I have 38 minus 14 equals to, then I have my 2s there, then plus this 2s, which is already there. And I hope you understand up to this point. Let's go ahead and simplify further. So I have 38 minus 14, which is going to give me 24. I hope you agree with me. So I'm going to have my 24 equals to 2s plus 2s is going to be 4s. Okay, for me to get my s, I'll divide through the equation by the coefficient of s, which is 4. So I'll divide here by 4, and I'll divide here also by 4, so that this and this will cancel. 4 goes here 1, and 4 goes into the 24 6 times, okay, because 6, 4 is 24, it goes in 6 times. So I have my s equals to 6. I hope you understand and you agree with me up to this point. Now we've gotten the value for s, so now we can proceed and find the width of the rectangle and also the length of the rectangle, and use it to find the area, because the question is asking us to find the area of the rectangle. Now let's come to the board. We have that the weight into brackets w equals to s. So now we've gotten the value of s, which is 6. Okay, so it means our weight will be equal to 6 centimeters, because we said let the weight equals to s, and now we've gotten the value of s. So now the weight is what? 6 centimeters. I hope you agree with me. Okay, so now I need more space to continue, so I'm going to clean a portion of the board. Okay, so let me clean a portion of the board so that we can proceed. Okay, so let me clean this side and let's continue from there. Okay, so now I have that, don't forget, I have that my weight, it will be equal to, so therefore my weight into bracket W will be equal to 6 centimeters. Okay, because from the beginning we said that let the weight be equals to S, and now we've gotten the value of S. Okay, so the weight is 6 centimeters. Okay, now the length, okay, so let's go. The length is S plus 7. So wherever we see S, we are going to put the value of S there to get the length. Okay, so look at it. So the length equals to S plus 7. Okay, so let me clean here so that we can proceed and get the length as well. So my length into bracket L will be equal to 6 plus 7. I hope you understand and you agree with me. Okay, and which will give me 6 plus 7 will give you 13. So 13 centimeters. Okay, so now we know the length of the rectangle, which is 13 centimeters, and also we know the width of the rectangle, which is 6 centimeters. So now we can use it to find the area. How do we find the area? We've written the formula on the board. Area equals to length times width. Okay, so I'm going to clean this side so that we can have enough space to solve for the area. Okay, so my area that I'm looking for, which is the A, will be equal to the length is 13 centimeters, okay, times the width, which is 6 centimeters. I hope you understand and you agree with me up to this point. Okay, so now let's do the multiplication. So my 13 times 6 is going to give me 78. So I'm going to have 78 centimeters square. Okay, so that is my area of the rectangle. Okay, I can see it's not clear here, so let me clean it and write it well so that you can see. So I have my area equals to 78 centimeters square. I hope you can see it now. Okay, good, it's clear. So that's the solution to the question. Okay, and I hope the explanation was clear enough and you understood it as well. Okay, so all that we did is to write down the given information, okay, and went through some process to get the length of the rectangle and also the width of the rectangle. And the question is asking us to find the area, and the area of a rectangle is length times width. And after getting the length and the width, we found the area, which is 78 centimeters square. I hope the explanation is clear enough and you understood it. Please don't forget to like the video and also share the video as well. And if you are watching for the first time, please do well to follow the page and also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. I'll see you again in another video whilst we handle the C part of the question 3. Okay, bye bye.